Do you want to know about all of the weather and climate in the Seattle area? Well, stay tuned. This video, we dive right on in. Hey everybody, my name is Tova Williamson and I am a local real estate agent here in the Seattle metro area. I shoot tons of videos of what it's like to live in the area. So if those are videos you want more of, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, click that bell so you'll be notified every time a new video comes on. So we love hearing from you. We get reach outs every day from people wanting to move to the area. We love hearing from you, but we can't help unless you give us a call. So call, email, text, whatever you got to do, because we got your back when you're moving to Seattle. Okay, so this video, we're going to talk about weather and climate. This is like a really big topic in Seattle and people moving to the area. It's always like we get known for the rain, right? It's like rain, rain, rain all the time, gray, gloom, gloom, gloom. And that's pretty accurate. It is pretty gloomy and rainy most of the time, but there are little pockets of time when it's not like that. We're going to talk about that in this video. So Seattle area, we have pretty good 4 seasons. We get a full spring, we get summer, we get fall, and winter. It doesn't snow here, but it's just cold and rainy the whole time. So we definitely get it's a distinct season. So we do get the 4 distinct seasons, which is kind of good. Not all places like that. I feel like a lot of people like that, the 4 seasons and seeing the change throughout the year. So we definitely get that here. I'm going to share my screen because so this is just like the average temps throughout the year. You can see sometimes it gets higher, sometimes it gets lower. So it's pretty mild here. It doesn't usually typically freeze here. And then it doesn't usually get like super, super hot either in the summer. So it's pretty nice. I mean, again, we get those kind of cold snaps sometimes where it does get unseasonably cold, or we get snow every so often. It's very rare, maybe once a year. Usually I feel like it's like every other year we get like a big snowstorm. It lasts like 2 or 3 days and then it melts and it's gone. So it's fun. It makes it more fun instead of like having to like live through it for the whole winter. Same with the summer. It's usually pretty mild. Again, sometimes we get like those crazy heat snaps where it's super hot for a few days, but it typically only lasts like 2 or 3 days and then it cools back down. But we do see like over 100 every so often. Not totally common, but this is pretty accurate just to show you kind of the progression of the weather. Let's talk about rain too, because people are always so concerned about the rain here. It definitely does rain a lot, not gonna lie. But the rain typically is pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Like a drizzle. It's not usually like complete downpour all the time. We definitely see rain here, like November, December, January, like during the winter, that's rain time, rain season. Spring, it doesn't tend to rain as much actual rainfall. It's still pretty gloomy throughout those times. The one thing that makes up for it is the blooms of everything. We have like so much greenery here because of all the rain. So we get daffodils, tulips, cherry blossoms. Like come March and April, that stuff is just blooming everywhere. And it's so beautiful. Like, yeah, the sky's gray, but everything around is so colorful and beautiful. So it's a trade-off. Summer pops around. It's perfect here in the summer. I mean, right now it's July here. I think it's gonna be like 80 degrees today. It's just perfect. Blue skies. It's great. This is why I love living here is this time. It lasts like 2 months maybe, but it's great. These are like the really good times. And rain is very low here. It rarely rains in the summer. And then we get back up into the fall where that rain starts kicking in and it just goes throughout the year. So talking about seasons in general, again, winter, we get pretty decent rain. The temps are usually like in the 40s. It's super rare that it gets down below freezing, even at night, because we get so much cloud cover during the day and the rain. It usually doesn't get that cold at night. Then it stays pretty mild. So I'd say like in the 40s, maybe sometimes in the 30s, but it's kind of rare. That's like a cold time. Like that's not normal, but typically like the 40s is pretty common and just cloudy and rainy. One thing too to know is here, because where we are like we're just further north in the US. So we do get like shorter days in the winter, longer days in the summer. So the winter, especially if we do like the fall back and the daylight savings ends, it can get dark at like 3:34. And then if it's like a super gloomy, like dark day, it's dark. It's dark a lot. And then it doesn't get light until like 7 or 8 in the morning too. So I know that can be rough on people just having like the rain and the dark in the winter. So you do have to experience that. I will say, at least in the Seattle area during Christmas and the holidays, it's, there's lights everywhere. It's very festive. So it's kind of easy to get through like November, December with like the gloomy weather, because there's just other things going on. You're like, okay, there's lights. It's all this, there's a lot of events, just geared towards the holidays. But like January, February is when it gets like, you're just sick of it and you're ready to go on a vacation somewhere warm. And then coming into spring again, usually like 50s, 60s ideally is where we're at in like March, April, May. This year specifically, like we didn't get nice weather until like July. Like it stretched really long. And so it does get old sometimes. Like, and sometimes we'll just get like these random heat waves in the middle of like June or May, where like a few days it's 80 degrees and it's sunny and then it goes back to rain. So we always get what you call like the false summer here, where it gets really warm in like April and May, and you're like, cool, yeah, 80 degrees, summer's here, woohoo, I'm ready. I'm like packing up all my sweatshirts, getting out the shorts. And then like 2 days later, it's like 50 degrees and raining. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I live in the Pacific Northwest and the weather's never constant. So just prepare for that. Spring, rainy, again, still rainy, cold, 50s, 60s, if you're lucky, maybe 70s, but it's still pretty cool. But again, just like look at the flowers and all the blooming and stuff. And that's when you can start getting like your garden, thinking of your garden. If you like to garden, like, what do I want to grow? Like start prepping for all of that to come into summer. That's a side note too. If you are big into gardening, Seattle area is nice because we don't really get freezing that often. So you can pretty much garden year round if you want. I mean, we've had like kale and different lettuce that just sticks around all year. Like, so you can keep growing some stuff. I mean, it gets kind of bleak in the winter, like you just eat kale all day, every day. But you can garden most of the year. Like there's always something blooming, even in the winter sometimes. So it's nice for that. Then we get into summer. Like that is the best time of the year here. This is why I love living here. It can be very short sometimes, like July, August. If you're lucky, it goes into September, but it's just beautiful. Blue skies, 70s, 80s, doesn't get too hot. I mean, like 85 here is hot for us. Like people are like dying. Not really, but they're just like very hot. But that's when people are usually in good moods until they're sick of the heat. Then they're complaining that it's too hot and they want the rain back again. Summer here is great. There's lakes, there's, Puget Sound, there's mountains, there's rivers, there's just so much to do here. And that's where like summer is just really awesome here. So you get it for about 2 to 3 months if you're lucky. Sometimes we get like that late summer that goes into September and we're still getting like really nice weather. The daylight here in the summer it just goes all day. It gets light at like 5 in the morning and then it doesn't get dark until like 9 or 10 at night too. So you just get to really soak in those like beautiful long summer days. And it's just really great. Unless you have little kids, get blackout curtains, because like trying to get them to go to sleep and stay asleep when it's like bright out is really hard. You have to that's just one thing you gotta kind of deal with. But other than that, it's amazing. Summer here is great. Then we get into fall, which is really fun time too. A lot of times, like we do still have like the nice weather that goes into September, sometimes even October, but then you do start noticing like that crispness in the air, like that summer heat is kind of gone. And then you start I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like that smell in the air of just fall. I don't know, like I can't describe it, but you start feeling that change, and then the days are starting to get a little shorter. The weather starts cooling down. Like if we get those nice, like long summers that extend into September and sometimes even October, where it's still like 70s during the day, but then it's like, once that sun starts going down, it gets cold and you're like, oh yeah, okay, no, it's really like getting into fall. But fall here is beautiful because we have so much greenery. There's a lot of trees. So we get like the beautiful leaves falling, the oranges and like the bright colors. And a lot of times if we're lucky, we don't see like rain a ton like in September, October. It just depends. But yeah, so you still get that nice weather, and then you see like all of the leaves falling. There's a ton of like farms here, so that's when people like love to go like do their pumpkin picking at the farms and picking apples and all of that like fun fall stuff that people love to do. Like Starbucks busts out that pumpkin spice. People are just like in love with pumpkin. So, fall is really fun here too, because we do get those like 4 distinct seasons. So it's very fall-y. And I feel like there's just a lot of people that really love fall. And then we're back to winter again, the rain, the gloom. It is what it is, but it's a cycle. And I feel like if you don't have those gloomy, rainy days, then you don't appreciate the sun as much. So, I mean, I lived somewhere where it was sunny all the time. You just get like so sick of it after a while. You're like, oh, it rained one day and it's like 60 degrees. You're like, oh, it's cold. I'm going to wear a sweater. But like here, it just rains all the time. So you just really, really appreciate those beautiful sunny days. So, it's kind of like you can't have the good without the bad. So there you have it. That's like the weather and climate in Seattle. It rains, but it does get sunny too. Like it is beautiful here too. Moving to Seattle can be tough, especially if you don't know the area and you just don't know the certain things to look out for. So that's why we want you to give us a call. We love helping you. We love helping you navigate the area, but we can't help unless you call. So give us a call, email, text. We got your back when you're moving to Seattle.